All right. Well, thanks, Coach. This is Jason Lee. I'm the head football coach at Lakewood High School in Hebron, Ohio. Just to talk to you a little bit today about accountability and culture here at Lakewood and what we try to do and what we believe in. And there's a couple pieces of this that I find that you guys might be interested in. One is our accountability charts for our young people, but also an app that we use during the summer program and can be used in the off season called Life School that we've adapted for football when it comes to accountability. And then some other pieces that we utilize within our program, and many of you guys probably already use many of these pieces, but maybe this is a different spin on the approach, or maybe a different way we do things at Lakewood that may be something that you could be interested in. Before I start, you're always encouraged to reach out to me. Say, hey, Coach, I like this idea. Tell me a little bit more. You can find me on Twitter, and also I'll give my email at the end of this presentation to talk to you a little bit more about some of the things we're doing. As I go through this, some of these things that you probably already do or probably have heard of. Here's a little bit of my philosophy with our culture. I'm all about providing an opportunity to develop a lifelong learner, or somebody who's going to adapt well in the real world. We want to develop self-discipline and confidence, be physically and mentally tough, and self-discipline in the program. So a lot of things that we do in the off season, during the season, have to do with developing that young person into an adult that's going to be successful in the real world. If you don't develop character as an athlete, many times the adversity, not only on the field but off the field, will expose it. So we feel like spending time with character, developing character, is vital to our success within our program. And we work hard to make sure that we provide a well-rounded approach to that. This is more than X's and O's. It's an opportunity for our young men to establish, the skills that they need later on in life. We want things to be consistent in the program. Consistency is important. Our young people need routine, just like your young people do. During this time especially, we're concerned about what that routine looks like for them. And so, we try to do a lot of things. I'll talk a little bit about that today, that remain the same as much as we can on our calendar, so that they are, they like the routine. And for them, when it's not there, some of our boys can go astray. So we try to manage things with a business-like approach here in the program, organize the function in a smooth, systematic type of manner, and everything from our calendar to the things that we do in the off season and during the season. The kids kind of know what's coming up because it's consistent, and I think that consistency, breeds trust within the coaching staff, and we try to make sure that we do that yearly, so that there's things that become traditions now that before maybe had not been part of that. We want to align with what's going on in the school district, and the ultimate goal, obviously, is that we want to become, the most highly competitive that we can, and we have goals of playoffs and things of that nature. But I don't think you can take that next step unless you truly spend and invest a lot of time within the culture. So those are some of my thoughts there with some philosophy. Here are some of my objectives here while Lakewood that kind of align with the culture here. We want to increase our numbers in grades 7 to 12. We haven't had a freshman team by itself in a long time here at Lakewood. We also haven't had two separate junior high teams. We've had one team the last 3 years. Our numbers are slowly growing. This year will be our largest grade, our 8th grade group that's going to be freshmen next year. So we're excited about that. We want to establish, a cohesive and stable coaching staff, which means that, we don't want a lot of turnaround within our program. We want to make sure that we, improve, how we're perceived, our public relations, and also improve the traditions here within Lakewood. That's important. We also want to make sure that we align the total program from the youth league all the way through varsity, and that includes making sure that within our junior high program and the youth league that we use the same type of terminology, things of that nature. And so one of the things that we usually are trying to do is we'll have meetings with middle school program to make sure that they're on task with what we're doing, and the same thing with the youth league. We are trying to, implement a fair and effective discipline policy, provide academic assistance throughout the program, provide a quality strength and conditioning program. And we do that this year. I hired in a new coach that is now our phys ed teacher in our advanced strength training class. So we're able to align both our after-school lifting programs and our lifting programs during the day if they choose to take a class. And I open up the weight room program in the morning at 5:30 a.m. So our young people have 3 chances to get a lift in during the day. We want to create a positive team image and unity. And we definitely want to fit our schemes both offensively and defensively to the players that we have. We don't want to try to make something fit if it's not working. And our goal is ultimately to strive for a league championship and playoffs. That's important. So those are some of the things that we believe in with the objectives and the philosophy. And obviously it probably aligns with a lot of things that you are already doing. And I want you to know that you're always encouraged to come in and reach out to me and try to pick my brain a little bit more about some of this. So one of the things that we kind of hang our hat on is the elite philosophy, and that includes what it takes to be an elite athlete or elite program. And we kind of break it down, and we break it down into these 5 categories, things that we truly believe in. One is effort. We truly believe that that you don't have to be the most talented young person out there, but if you can give me everything and more, you got yourself a chance. We have to develop leadership so that our young people are able to not only lead, but also be able to guide the young players that are coming through, so they know how to lead when they get there at the senior level. Integrity is important. We always say, be where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and doing it at the best of your ability. And if you're doing those things, most likely you're going to have a good day. So it's important that integrity is part of the things that we believe in. Toughness, both mental and physical toughness. We always talk about the physical, but I believe that mental toughness is by far more important than anything within our program. And enthusiasm. I don't know a lot of people who do things that are successful in life that do it without enthusiasm. So, we're asking our young people to have a true enthusiastic approach to the game. And we try to, have fun within the program, but bring energy, bring enthusiasm. If you're bringing effort and you're truly trying to be a leader and you're playing the game with integrity, with mental and physical toughness, and you bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm with that, the likelihood of you being successful increases. And so when our young people come into the program, we ask them to not only believe in this, but to understand what it means. And within the program, we align a lot of things to this. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Some of our focus of life within the program is basically, in a block out format. Here we have 5 different areas: brotherhood and team, academics and future, discipline, character, attitude, physical and mental toughness, which is elite mental toughness, EMT. To be well-rounded, to be a quality student athlete, we believe that you have to have a focus on these areas. And within our off season, during the season, in the summer, we make sure that we have a point of emphasis in each one of these areas. And then, when we have our coaches meeting, we talk about, hey, how's this addressing our brotherhood or team aspect? How's this, addressing our discipline or character? And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second when it comes to, what we discussed in team meetings, coaches meetings, and how is that aligned with what we're doing. So one of the things, there's two pieces of focus today. One of the things I want to talk about was our accountability groups. When I was with Zanesville under Coach Grandstaff from 2012 through 2016, we were fortunate to have some pretty good teams, 2 Final Fours, 2013 team and the 2015 team. 2013, we were up 8 points with 47 seconds left against Loveland. That close to being in the state championship game, and lost that in double overtime. 2015, we make it back to Massillon this time, and played a really good game up there. Fell short in 2015, the Final Four with a right to go on to Ohio State, playing the state championship game. But one of the things that you'll see a comparison here in a second, but one of the things that was evident was the growth and accountability for our young people during those times. In 2013, that was a very mature team. Accountability groups, you could tell right from the get-go it was going to be strong. 2013, a little bit different. They had to grow a little bit, and they eventually became a lot closer to what that 2013 team looked like. And it's a reflection of what the county group breakdown looked like. So you say, Coach, how do you do accountability groups? What's that all about? Well, this is based, on very little to do with skill set. I mean, it has a little bit to do with what you bring to the team on and off the field. But it's truly a holistic approach to, what kind of person you are, and what are you doing in the program. So, we base this again on elite effort, leadership, integrity, toughness, and enthusiasm. And we during the season, our coaches. One of the things that's always on the agenda, it's always one of the first things that we cover, besides the 8th grade coaches coming in and talking to us on Sunday. We have on the agenda accountability groups. So we spend a good hour just going over each and every kid in the program, and we talk about that kid. Whether or not you're the 3rd string, 4th string to the starting quarterback, we spend time talking about you, evaluating your growth, but on and off the field, and we put you in a category. And these accountability groups, so there's 8 of them, 8 different levels, gold all the way down to red, gold being the highest. And every week during the season, you can move up and down based on what you're doing during that week. We come to a consensus with the coaching staff, where that young person is going to be. We move them up, move down, they stay the same. One of the things we talk about a lot in the program is, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You rarely stay the same. So, we try to stick to that and see, where that young person has made some strides or where they've kind of taken some steps backwards. And during the summer, we will have graduation dates, which means we'll post on June 28th or July 29th and then August 16th, where have you moved up or down in the accountability chart. And then it's updated every week during the season. So every Thursday before practice, I post accountability groups. And it's been one of the most popular things that we post, even more obviously than stats or those kind of things. These kids, they want to know where in the coach's eyes, have I made growth or have I taken a step back? So obviously red is the bottom, white minus, then white plus, then blue minus, blue plus, and then all the way to gold. And we coaches, we take this very seriously. And if a young person goes and sees where they're at on the accountability chart and they don't like it, or they don't understand why they moved down or maybe even moved up, they have a right to go see their position coach, and they talk to the position coach. And then if they're not real satisfied, they can always come to the coordinators and then to myself in regards to just what's happened. But it aligns with everything we do in the program. We'll talk about that in just a second. Privileges will be based on accountability groups, and the kids know this. Everything we do starts off with, gold's first, blue plus is second, blue minus, you're next. blue, you're next, and so forth, all the way down. Again, this is something I took from Zanesville, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about, what are some of the things, the privileges that come and go with accountability groups. Everybody wants the Speed Flex helmet. Well, we go in order of accountability groups. Gold group goes first. Equipment selection to jersey number selection to locker selections to when we go to our retreat and the annual retreat, from bunks and cabins to the order we go in pregame meals, to how many selections you get on pregame music or weight room music, to even boarding the bus. Your kids go based on that. Gold goes first. Captain selection, you have to be blue or higher. If you've been selected a captain, one of the things that we do in our program is we select a captain, new captains every week. Our leadership council, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and I believe that, you have to re-earn your spot again. Nothing's ever given, it's earned. So you have to re-earn your spot. And if you're voted or have one of the highest number of votes, you're then, put into the next week to be a captain, but you have to be at least blue or higher. If you get nominated for whatever reason, and you're white plus that week, and you have the second highest votes, you're not a captain that week. Leadership council, you have to have blue or higher. If you fall below blue, then you're off leadership council. Cleanup, we do have our leadership council. They'll clean up once during the week and do some things, and then the rest of it's based on reds and the white minuses. Every week that you are a gold, you get an elite helmet sticker, and so forth. So everything we do in order is based on accountability. And the kids really like to see where they're at. They want to improve. Many of them don't have an awareness of why they're slipping up. So this opens up opportunities to sit down and talk to that young person about the growth they've made a little bit, or maybe where they slipped. And this goes to academics as well. Obviously, if you have a D or a C minus or a lower grade, that affects your accountability status. Your attendance at school, being late, your discipline at school. This can drop you in accountability groups. The things you do on and off the field is obviously more important at times than anything. From flags that you get on Friday night. So there's a lot of things that we do with accountability groups, and it's all taken into consideration, and we post it. So what I decided to do was I went back, and I'm pretty good at keeping data. And I even called Coach Grandstaff up the other day and said, hey, can you give me some data and tell me how far off I am on some of these things from what I thought 2013 and 15 Zanesville teams looked like, and then, of course, where we're at as a program. So I went back a little bit to kind of see if there is a correlation between some success with a program, with some wins, and with accountability groups. And, sometimes I believe it's not always about wins that you're successful in. There's other things going on in the program that I think are wins that are going to get you to that next level of wins. And I think those are just important. And we'll see a couple of examples of that. So accountability groups broke down in 2013 and 15 teams, the Final Four teams in Zanesville. 2013 team, well, over half the team was a gold, which is unbelievable. I've never been part of a team that had so many golds. Our theme that year was, all in, all the way. That was anything less than all the way. The state title was going to be, going to be unacceptable. We fell a little short, but we had some mature guys who bought in about everything. 2015, we didn't have any reds there, but it was a slow progression to gold for that group. A little bit different, a little bit more immature group than we had in 13. But one thing they had in common was the number of reds versus golds were very similar. And obviously, an end result was, 2 Final Fours. So when I took over Lakewood in 2017, our first year, it was tough. We lost a couple close games. But when I went back to the charts and looked at, these are the final accountability charts for that year. We had 8 reds and 3 golds. And when I looked at the blue minuses, between the range of blue minus all the way to gold, We had like 47% of the kids there, and over 52%, almost 53% of our kids were white plus or below. The 2018 team, 1-9, lost a double overtime game and an overtime game and another close game on that group. We had 4 reds that year, 7 golds. Blue minus or higher was around 45.9, and we were about 54% with white plus and below. And as you can see, we did increase our golds and reduced our reds, so that was progress. And, that team was on the verge of winning a couple more games, and we were close, just couldn't finish a couple things. But there was some growth made there within the program. We had less issues with some major problems than we did in 2017. 2017 had a more talented group, but their focus was not always on the game. And 2018 team, that was a group that was much more focused, but was still struggling with understanding what was acceptable in the program. 2019 team, this past season, we finished 3-7. We started to see significant change here with where we're at. We had 4 reds and 8 golds. Not much difference from the 2018 team, but I did see a significant change from blue minus to higher to which is blue minus to gold. We had 67.7% of the players in the program there, and from white plus to below to red, we had 32.3%. So as I look back on the numbers, accountability charts are starting to show a reflection of the end product, of the end result. And so, I'll remind the kids of this when we get back into the season this year, to show them, why we do this and why it's important. Again, if you're looking for something that can stabilize awareness of accountability, and maybe have a focus on a young person and their growth, this is one way to do it. And kids don't always want to hear the real reasons why they may be slipping, but those conversations need to take place. They need to happen. And this year we instituted a Lantern Talk. And one of the things that we did was, we put a chair out in the middle of the locker room, and a young person can take that chair and talk about things good or bad. And it was a really healthy thing that we did this year, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in some of the things we do within the culture. But with the Lantern Talk, a young person could not only address the team, they go to the chair, they sit in the chair, they also can call out a player. And those call-outs could go one-on-ones, which would happen in a coach's office with the coach present to address things within the program. And that became very popular. And as the season wore on, we had more players taking the seat and doing things in the best interest of the team by addressing it themselves. And that was important because, I can always address it. The assistant coaches can always address it. But if it's coming from your peers, coming from your brothers, your teammates, sometimes it makes a little bit different noise. And you get a little bit more of a response that you want. And that was something that we did on Thursdays before we went to practice in the evenings with our Lantern Talks. The other piece I want to talk about today was Live School, which is an app that we use to monitor accountability within the weight room. One of the things I wanted to say up front is I've been very fortunate with Live School. For whatever reason, when I first started to do this, they asked me, I would tweet out things about what we were doing in the program during my trial period. And they liked so much the PR that I was doing that they say, hey, don't worry about it. We're not going to charge you for this. You just keep putting things out there for us, and you can use this for free. So I've been very fortunate. And I'll talk about the cost, which is not a whole lot anyway. But I've been utilizing Live School not only in the weight room, but also in our high school setting for things that we do with our 6 C's that we have as a theme in our school. But for football, I've kind of tweaked it and put it in a format that I think you guys would be interested in utilizing. Again, once you hear this presentation, if you like something, you want to ask me some more questions, I'll give you some information at the end. Please reach out. I can help you with it. I can help you with the setup and all that. But, one of the things we wanted to do was engage our young people and increase our lifting attendance. My first year there was 2017. I came there in July, so summer weightlifting was halfway over. But the feel I was getting from the weight room wasn't the engagement that I was looking for. So in 2018, we started to change how we run our weight rooms in the summer. We split our groups up into skill and big skill. When we do workouts, skill would work out with the group in the weight room, when the big skill would be on the field, and then we'd flip. But I also wanted to have it more engaging. I wanted it to be more competition. I wanted it to be something that related to the kids. Kids are all driven by technology nowadays. So, I kind of have to meet them that way so that we can engage them a little bit more. So with Live School, this provides you instant feedback visually when you're in the weight room. There's different ways you can put this up, and I'll get that in a second. You can build a rubric specific to your culture and your expectations. It assists with all the summer team competitions that you probably already do. It increases engagement and motivation. It's a well-rounded approach to evaluation. And a great thing about this program is that, I can run a report on a young person all the way back in the summer about what they've been doing daily in the weight room. And it can be it's always a part of my postseason meetings with the young people, with our kids. But also, if a parent comes in and wants to know exactly what's been going on, I have some data there about work ethic and attitude and toughness that comes right out and kind of supports where I'm at with that young person. Holds players accountable. There's nothing worse than when they're working out and all of a sudden they see their name on the screen on the very top there, and it says -3 for lack of effort or bad form or not spotting or not deep enough or energy's down. Those are things that kids really respond to, and especially when it's instant right now. It's pretty simple. You can use a Clever Touch TV if you have one in your school. My first year, I just used a laptop with a projector, and I was able to project really with a large picture on the wall the teams and their points. And as we're in the weight room, coaches have this app on their phone based, and it's built on a rubric that I built. And all they do is tap on different areas, and all of a sudden they see the changes of the point totals automatically. Some of the things that happens is when the groups leave and they split up, and the groups one group comes back to the weight room while the other group's getting ready to leave. The eyes go directly to the points. They look and see, wow, we gained a lot of ground. The skills did a great job. Or man, we did not do much when the skills were in. We need to catch up. And that's right now you got them hooked. And so if you're going to use a regular TV, you just need an Android TV box, which is about $50. It attaches to your TV. But if you don't want to mess with that, I would, say, hey, just go ahead and use a laptop with a projector or a Clever Touch TV, which is pretty simple, which means computers on the TV, it's already built in, and you go to the website and you can just set the live scoring up and you start from there. If you have to be charged, which you probably will be, it's the users are based on not on the players, but by the coaches or the teachers that use it. So 1 to 25, I don't think anybody has more than 25 coaches, nor do you need 25 coaches to be, evaluating kids in the weight room. It's $99 a year for that. So not a bad investment for what you get back. So I'm kind of curious about how this works. I'm going to show you how that works with the app in a second. I wanted to talk a little bit about our summer weight room. We do summer themes. 2018 was Do the Work. We had a time clock in the weight room. Each kid had a card that they would punch when they come into the weight room. We had a lunch pail award. I think I got a lunch pail right here I brought. Looked like this, old school lunch pail that we utilized. And the kids loved this. They put this in the locker when they won it weekly, where they got their picture taken with the lunch pail. Blue collar mentality, roll up your sleeves kind of thing. Last year was do more with less, had a smaller roster, DMWL, and we had a bell in there. So every time they got the extra reps, more reps than they needed to do on the system, with a printout for the workout. They would ring the bell. That's become very popular. And we had a hard hat award, which aligns again with that blue collar mentality. And I just basically got a construction hat, put our logos on it, and our kids get a picture with this. I think the seniors this year are going to do a construction picture with these hard hats on. These are about $19 for this hat. And then you just use your helmet stickers. I used this stripe that's coming from a mini helmet that we sold for the top. Just happened to work out. But this year, our theme, I think so far, is continue to climb. Our kids will get together and decide on a theme. But right now, we've been using continue to climb. And not sure what that's going to look like. I got a feeling we talked about, the hard hat, but also, a mountain climber's axe. And they'll do something every day when they come in the weight room with that. Not sure yet, but that's something on the Leadership Council's agenda. In the summer, our Leadership Council team will draft. It's usually 5 or 6 teams in May. That's a big thing. Kids love that draft. I've been doing that since 2004 when I was at Maysville. The rubric is based on not only elite, which I'll show you in a second, but it's also, Lancer time. That's always 10 minutes before we're supposed to start. So right off the get-go, the kid shows up on Lancer time 12, 15 minutes before practice starts, before the weight room opens. They got 3 points for the team right from the get-go. And when they walk in, they see me hitting that app, and it just rings up a bell, and the team total changes. If they come on time, obviously they won't get any more points. They just get 0 points. We don't give points out for things they're supposed to be doing. But if you're late, -3. If you don't show, -5. The rubric is based on elite, and we'll show you that in a second. There's also a section for our juggernaut workout expectations. And every day we end with a daily team competition. I mean, we're creative. We've never do the same team competition during the summer or even in off season. It's always something new. And you can get an extra 5 points for your team. Your team wins that, or if you get the top effort for that day, you get an extra 3 points on top of that, plus all the points you receive during the workout. With this it leads up to a Lancer competition called the Iron Lancer that we have at the end of the year. It's always held the afternoon of Midnight Madness. It leads up to a carnival event that we have that evening. This year, we're going to add something new besides the carnival and everything that we do with that, with the players out there, and our Iron Lancer competition. We're going to have an alumni game this year to kick off Midnight Madness, and we'll take the field at 12:01, something that we started this year. The winning team at the end of the summer gets a steak dinner at the end of the Iron Lancer competition. Steak dinner, baked potatoes, salad, the works. Everybody else, and they'll get a T-shirt. They'll get conditioning vouchers that they can use. A lot of kids don't use them, but they can use them when they want to for the summer or for the 2 days. And then everybody else on that day gets hot dogs and hamburgers for their dinner. It's a big thing. It's a new tradition that we have. But it starts with what we do with the Live School app. So I wanted to show you a little bit about the Live School app. So I'm going to change here the screen. Okay, so on this menu, you'll be able to see the teams that I've kind of put together. Now, this is the teams I've put together. This is not with the draft, because the draft doesn't take place till May. But you can see here that Team 4, that most of these guys are all the guys that are the captains are from our Leadership Council. We started a Leadership Council a couple of years ago, and every year our coaches as well as the players will pick a couple additional players to the Leadership Council. We have a monthly meeting. We used to hold it at Pappy's Grill. He sponsors our events, free pizza and drinks for the meeting. It's a working lunch. We have a book study every year, and as part of the book study, but we also have different things that the Leadership Council will do. But they usually are the ones that are in charge of the draft. And as you can see, we divide them up into evenly teams, usually between 7 to 9 players. Ford has 9, Haynes has 8, Ogilvy 8, Team Taylor 9, Team Bandstra 8, Team Waters has 8. From there, I wanted to show you a little bit of how this works. Let's go to our rubric first. Okay, so this is the rubric that I have set up. Now, this could change. I might tweak this a little bit more this year, but this is, for the most part, how you can set this up. Pretty simple. Elite workouts are based on your effort, your energy, your integrity while you're in the weight room, the leadership, and some toughness. So basically, all this is on my phone, this app. And I can add coaches to use it as long as I don't go over 25, which I won't. And they have access. So I can have 2 or 3 coaches in the weight room, and I can tell Coach Annan, you got freshmen today. Coach, I'll take the seniors today, and I'll say, Coach Strauss, why don't you take the juniors and sophomores? So their focus in the weight room is strictly on those players. And then we just rotate it and switch it up. A couple of nice things about that is you get a really good focus on what kids are doing every second that they're in the weight room. They're constantly being monitored. And they know that we have this app in our hand, and it's really easy to use because once you open it up, you can just it could be just right next to you, and you're just punching in numbers. So whenever I see a kid doing some great stuff, and I'll show you an example of this in a little bit, I just hit the plus sign, and there's already been a predetermined amount of points set for that, for effort. Down here, I can go for a workout. What kind of attitude are you having? Are you documenting your workouts the way we asked you to? Are you getting extra core reps? We can see that when they go to the bell and they ring. Are you following the instructions? Are you following our routine the way it's supposed to be? Are you giving us an honest effort? Are you maintaining a good, clean environment? Especially nowadays, that's big right now. Are you respecting others? Are you encouraging? Are you being a good teammate? A lot of times you'll hear me say in the weight room, hey, I need you to be a good teammate today. All right. Be a good teammate. Be a better spotter. Be a good teammate. All right. Pick that sheet off the ground. Why is that sheet still there? We are constantly on our kids about doing a little thing. Spotting safety, staying on task, and you can add a new behavior any way you want. And you predetermine the points that you want to put in here. And I usually just put 1 point on all these, just so that because I can hit one of these 3 or 4 times a time during a workout. Lancer time. I talked about this earlier. We have accountability forms. This is another thing. I should have showed this today, but I can talk about it. We have accountability forms. No young person can miss an event without filling out an accountability form. My dad once told me, you put your name on something, you sign off on it. You usually are pretty serious about what you're doing, and respectfully, you're doing the right thing. Every kid is supposed to sign an accountability form. If they have vacation, they put down what events. I do this because I want them to reflect on what's going on. Why is this important enough to miss a football workout? So they have to sign their name. They have to put down the date. They got to put down what football activities. That means they have to go back and review the calendar. Are they missing? And then where are they going? And then the parent signature. And then I put on there approved or not approved. Lancer time means if my kid's not in the weight room and they have accountability form turned in, they don't get dinged for that. They're good. I just check the forms that I have, and I know who's in, who's out. Every day I post who's out for that week or that day, and the coaches, they just got to have it now. They just go in, they look at the little tray that I have, and they go, oh, this kid's out. Everybody knows what's going on. Are they coming prepared? Are they wearing tennis shoes in the weight room? They know what the expectations. They kids have to wear black socks. Everybody wears the same thing. They don't wear black socks, and they don't look the same there. That's not coming prepared. Lancer time, being late, unexcused absences are a big one. That's a -5. Team competition, I have in this category. This is for the summer program only. What team did you finish first? Does your team finish first? Everybody that's there and participated gets 5 points for first. You get 3 for second. You get 1 for third. If you get hard hat player of the week, which we had last year, that's an additional 5 points for your team. If you had the top performance for the team competition that day after every workout, you got additional 3 points. So the app is basically pretty simple. It goes on your phone, and I could probably show you here a little bit on my phone what it looks like. And not every coach, you don't have to give it out to every coach if you don't want to. Most of the coaches, I'm old school coaches that don't worry, Coach Lee, I'm okay. I got my young coaches, they're all into this. So, I usually, at least take a grade or 2 every day when I'm in the weight room. If I'm not on the field that day. And I can look in here and I can show you here what the rubric looks like. It's the same as what you just saw on the screen. Um, so you can't probably see that, but on that screen right there is the app, and it looks it's the same thing. And I'm going to show you how this works in a second. So with the rubric, you can do whatever you want with it. Instead of having a lead up there, you can do your own thing, and you can change whatever you want. It's pretty simple. It's like a Word doc. It's not hard to do. You just edit, delete. If you want to delete something, you can take it out, change it up. So let me give you an example of how this works. So if I go to my insight over here, this scoreboard is going to pop up. Now remember, this scoreboard is in your weight room, either by projection, either by your, with a computer and a projector, or basically with a clever touch format, or a TV that you add the Android to. Hopefully you guys can see this. Every team comes in a different color. And those colors kind of take on their theme of their own, because at the end of the year, when we do our Iron Lancer competition, those teams come decked out in these colors. And so that's a big thing. They get real creative with that. But if you can see this, I'm going to go ahead and give you an example of some things that's going on in the weight room. So I got my app in my hand, and I'm watching players right now work out. Let me get to the screen. You're going to actually see what the kids will see while they're working out. Now, the music's blaring, obviously. They're trying to stay focused on the workouts, but they do have an eye on these points. And it's a real motivational piece for them. So let me get to the point system. So all of a sudden, I'm looking, and somebody on Team Haynes, man, he's doing a really good job here. This kid's doing a good job. They're all doing a good job on giving me some effort. All right. And all of a sudden, I hit those three names, and boom. Now, they don't hear the bell because we got music blaring and all that. And sometimes they don't even see the change in points. But they notice it from the beginning to the end of the workout where they started. Team Taylor, all of a sudden, they're working hard, and I'm watching Team Taylor. Now, this is broken down by grades or by teams. I know that most of the time I do it by grade levels. I know what grade levels. I don't always remember what team they're on. So you can do it by grade level. They'll group 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, seniors all together. Then you can just say, Jonah, I know he's a freshman, so I go to him real quick and I give him some points. Let's say that Jonah, Caleb, and Matt and Stuart working real hard, and one's here, one's got great energy. One's doing a great job with you getting extra reps there. Somebody else is following directions exactly how I want to. That's a great, great job making sure that he's being a great spotter. This guy's staying on task. And then I hit the point systems, and all of a sudden, those scores will change. That one didn't change on that one. But as you can see, what we do is we add points constantly. And one of the things that you'll notice is the kids especially the kids who come in from the field workouts, to the kids going, when they come back in, they want to know if they moved up or not. So that's the team app, or that's the live app that we use. And like I said, it is fairly cheap. I'm very fortunate right now. It hasn't cost me anything in 2 years. And I'm real excited about that, because obviously we want to make sure that, we keep the costs down, but at the same time, we want to bring things into our environment that's good. All right. So, we just talked a little bit about how the live school app can hold our young people accountable in the weight room. Now, you can do that during the summer. You can do it, during the off season. Now, I don't always do it in the off season because it's hard for the teams to stay together with all the sports going on. In the summer, I usually have the kids I'm going to have, like I've said earlier, I was going to mention, last year, we had a small roster of 31 kids, but we averaged 29.1 or 2 kids a day in the weight room out of the 31. And that percentage, the big jump from the previous year, I think has a lot to do with the fact that, they like this competition. I mean, every day they have this computer hanging over their head with points blown up on a wall, and they like to see their name because their name will pop up underneath that point total about, how they contributed on just a second ago. We have this, instant gratification. Our young people are there, and as well as I do as being a coach, it's all about instant gratification. They want instant feedback now. They want to know, and this does that for you. So if you want to know more information about that, don't hesitate. I'll walk you through that, and I'll help you set it up. I'll come to your place. I'll do whatever. Couple more pieces to our culture. Obviously, academics is a huge thing for us. I instituted a program back when I was at Maysville called CHAMP, continuously helping athletes make progress. And it's usually in 4 parts. We have grade and behavior checks during week 1 of the year, obviously during football season, and then week 4 during the season or the grading period leading up into the next year. And obviously, that's our eligibility grading period. We do have progress book now, and the kids can do all that. But I feel like just like our activity exception forms, our accountability forms, I feel like a kid needs to actually, have a conversation face to face with the teacher for it to be impactful. So I'm, every Friday they go around these grade checks, old school way, and they have the teachers write their grade and their behavior down, and then they have to turn it in the mailbox. And that's how we monitor our kids. Now, during the season, if you have an F on your weekly grade check, you don't play. If you did not turn in your grade check, you're out. So it's very important. It's like a golden ticket, and they take it very seriously. We have peer tutoring that goes on in our weight room. This is interesting. I don't know if you guys, since we have 3 different levels of lifting now during the day. When I first came in, we just had 1. But now, I open up the weight room year 2 and year 3 at 5:30 in the morning. And we have advanced strength training that aligns with our football workouts now for the first time. And then we have after school weight room from 2:30 to 4:10. And if I have a lot of kids who not only are in the strength training program, then they come to a morning workout. So they're already +2 for the day. If you're a +2 or +3 guy, which means you come 3 times a day, then you can help out with tutoring or you can help out with lifting. So I have some really good guys that are really good with lifting. So I say, you're a +2 today, you came back, that's great. I want you to help with lifting. I have a kid that's really good in academics. You already had your workout this morning, plus you're in strength. Okay, you go, you're +2 today, you go help with the group over there for peer tutoring. So that's been a big help this year. Now, sometimes I get kids that want to do a workout. So I always have an option for them. Let's say I have enough peer tutors that day and I have enough guys working with, usually the young guys, they work with the young guys, the 8th graders that come in. Excuse me. So they work with them. Now, if for whatever reason I have enough tutors and I have enough people working with workouts, I say to them, listen, all right, here's your workout for the day. Here's your plow. This is something different that you didn't do that complements what we did today. They can go and they'll do football. They'll do drill workout in the gym with the football. So they get on a jug machine or whatever. They're my +3 guys. So basically, we have options for the kids. How do I take care of the academic needs as well as taking care of getting our kids at the 8th grade level better? If I have more eyes on them, well, open up the weight room more than once a day. And not only will the kids come back, they'll play a vital role in helping you support your academic needs and or developing the 8th graders and building relationships. So that's been huge this year, probably more so this year than any year. And this off season was a great start, and obviously everybody's come into this new world that we're living in. And, I'm not sure how it's going to affect us, but we were off to a really good start. Another piece to that, we have an Elite Achievement Cup, which I take all the grade levels, and you might want to, this is something that you might want to implement, is I have a trophy that's just basically for the Elite Achievement Cup. And this is based on discipline in the school year, your attendance, your GPA, all right, and coming to the weight room. So your team is your grade level. And I give points every grading period for the top team with the best GPA, what grade level will have the best attendance, what grade level will have the best discipline, how many write-ups did you have for that grading period, who had the best attendance in the weight room. And I put that all in, and then 5 points for first, 3 for second, 1 for third, 0 for fourth. At the end of the year, at our orientation, we recognize the Elite Achievement Cup winners by group. They have a special pizza thing sponsored by Pappy's, and we do a special thing with them with a T-shirt. But that's a competition that we use for an incentive. And then the last piece of this is our incentive trips. Every fall, High State, I've been working with them for years. They give me 3 or 4 tickets for games. And I picked, kids during the grade point. Each grading period have done a really good job with they all had 5s for behavior, or they all had A's. If they can do that for the whole grading period, they get the tickets. During the off season, we've taken our kids to the Ohio State Woody Hayes Football Center for a tour one year, and we went out to eat at Roosters. Then we went to the Football Hall of Fame. Virtually today we did that, but we've done that physically in the spring of 2018. Every winter we do a brotherhood bowling event, which after our recruits come in after our December meeting, after a month with them, we bring everybody together for a bowling event to kind of build that brotherhood in the beginning. We went down to Ohio University. Coach Solich was great. We took a football tour there, of the facilities, played spring ball, got to eat in the cafeterias. We took the kids to North-South All-Star game. I took them to an Inky Johnson event at Denison University. So we always have an academic incentive trip, which means that it also ties into the weight room. So if you have the grades that we ask you to have and you come to the weight room and you're not in a winter sport, you've earned a trip. Let's say you're a winter sport athlete. Coach, I play basketball. I couldn't get in the weight room as much. Obviously, I don't hold that against them, although we have 3 times to get in the weight room. But if they are in a winter sport and their grades are good, they can earn a trip. So, those are a big piece of the driving force for us. Eligibility is always a big concern. So the CHAMP program I put in, I've been using it since I was at Maysville. It's something that we utilize still to this day. When I was at Maysville, we took them to Columbus Destroyers football games and some other things a little bit different. But I always come up with, it's always on the calendar. They always know. With this with the COVID going on right now, today we took a virtual trip to the Hall of Fame, which was pretty neat today. It was a neat thing, but it wasn't as good as going live, but it was still a good day. We also are huge in community service. We have a Lancer Lunch Buddy and reading program in the fall. Every Friday, but our guys go with their jerseys on over there, and I sign them to all 3 buildings. They're either there with the older kids as lunch buddies, or they are doing reading programs with the younger kids. We have a new tradition with the Salvation Army Red Kettle Drive at Kroger. Our guys go in their jerseys, and we lead it every year. 3 years in a row, we've had the highest amount of money in the kettles. Something about guys in a jersey, young men in a jersey, doing that and ringing a bell that brings in money. They love us. We do that. The kids, we sign up for like 3 weeks, the entire month of December. And our kids usually work the evenings, 5 to 8. We do an honors flag activity. We go and put every American flag in all the cemeteries in Hebron. We go in our jerseys. They go out and they put this is a great way to give back, but also a great reflection piece for our young people about sacrifices. And they really like that, and they get a free pizza luncheon after it's done. They get donuts before we start. We've been doing that. This is going on year 3 for that. We help with the Levy Sign campaign. We go out in our jerseys and we canvass that and we do that. One of our leadership council meetings this year, their first activity they had to do was divvy up the addresses that requested signs and efficiently map out a way to deliver the signs without, and with a good time versus crossing over back and forth and those kind of things. We help with the community Easter egg hunt on the football field. We obviously do our youth camps every summer. We have a dunk tank at the Hebron Pie Festival that's very popular of our players. And then we do our Midnight Madness, which is really a big thing for the community. We have all kinds of things there. We have football activities and different games, but we also have, dunk machine, and we have obstacle courses, and we got snow cone trucks there. We got the whole thing. It's a big thing that leads into our Midnight Madness practice, which is the first practice of 2 days, which we started a couple of years ago. And we do that at 12:01. This year, we're going to have the first ever alumni game after the carnival and before our practice. Not sure what it's going to look like, if it's by divisions or whatever, but we're going to get some guys together. It costs a little bit of money to do it, but it goes towards building a new facility for us in the LAC right now for weight room football. That would be something that if you know people that are want to get back to their school, that's one way to do it with the alumni game. I'm working with a coach from New Lexington. He's doing his this year as well. We're going to try to do this during Midnight Madness. So Midnight Madness now has become the Iron Lancer, the community fair, the alumni game, and practice all in one night. So it's a long day for the coaches, but it's a good one. Back to new traditions real quick. I've already talked about some of these things. but I wanted you to just hear about them one more time. Off-season incentive trips are something that we're doing new. We have a newsletter I do in the off-season, and it looks something like this. So one of the things that I've been doing for ever since day one here is our Lancer Football Monthly. I'm getting ready to put out issue number 20 tomorrow, but we've done 3 years. I've done 19 of these, 20 of these. I want to be very clear and very transparent about what we're doing in the program, and we're doing a lot of good things. And so this is my template that I use, and it's pretty, and it's always has a little bit of history in there, as you can see. I'm working on history right now. We have no history that we can. I mean, I got a lot of history now, but there's nothing displayed. So I'm trying to develop that right now. So there's always a history section. There's player recognition section, and then there's just different stories in here for the newsletter. On the back, there's always a calendar, and I always make sure we put the birthdays for our young people on there, and also, my information, my Twitter, and other things. So this goes out, and I always still send this out to our alumni, usually at least 1 year. So last year's 2019, they still receive these newsletters in the off season. I have a secretary just print off labels, and I try to make sure we send them out to the youth league players, the community members, board members, and every staff member in the district. And since I work in the district, in an administrative position, I'm able to get that stuff out quickly. But if you're interested in knowing how to do that, that's our monthly newsletter. Okay. Our leadership council team obviously is something we've started. It's always guided by a book study. We have a mentor program with that, so our kids are assigned a freshman, an incoming freshman. They help with decision making for us, and they bring concerns, and we have discussions. And we meet once a month right now in the off season, from February all the way up and through June. And then we meet once a week during the season on Thursdays prior to practice. We have a freshman signing day now on the May orientation event. So they sign off, they get put in the jerseys, they sign off on what it takes to be elite. And that's become a big thing, something new. Our summer draft and competition we talked about. Our annual football retreat, 3 days at Friendly Hills Campground in Zanesville. Very popular. There's a lot of football packed in that 3 days. There's also a lot of culture events when it comes to building the brotherhood. I mean, we sing the alma mater every night. The fight song. We have bonfires. We have team building activities. We watch film outside. We have 7-on-7 with another school that comes in. We have lineman competitions. We have 3 practices. They spend 3 days together, and it's free of charge. Doesn't cost them anything to do that. We have our parents feed our kids, and that's become very popular. Our summer draft and competition, which we talked about. Midnight Madness, our weekly Lancer talks. Thursday night practices now are something that we do. Not every Thursday, but when we have a turf game or we're home, we usually go under the lights on Thursday nights. And we also do a parent helmet decal night, which is on a Thursday before the first game. Our seniors, their parents will actually, they put all the decals on for their players. It's a very emotional event. The parents really enjoy it. Last year, we lost a member of our Lancer family who was a band member. I invited them last year, and I had a sticker that was created for their son that we wore, and they put those stickers on every helmet last year. So again, trying to do what's right and getting people involved in the program is important. And those are some of the things we've done that are new. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is basically, I've told the kids last year, and this has been a constant statement, success will continue only as long as the commitment to the process of being successful remains in place. And what I kind of showed you a little bit about our culture and philosophies and accountability. If we're going to continue to climb or continue to go in the direction that we're trying to go, then we have to be committed to the process of being successful. It has to remain in place. It has to be consistent. It has to be a routine. It has to be part of your language. It has to be part of who you are. And the kids, they have to buy into it. And so, again, I truly believe in what we're doing. And, we ask our kids to be all in. And so when it comes to accountability, they know that there's not much that we don't see. And we do take the time to make sure every kid has a role in the team, but also we give time to make sure that we do our part in making sure that they're growing in the program. And it's always nice to know, and our coaches sometimes go, wow, it's been a long meeting, but, sometimes we go into an hour and a half just talking about accountability with our kids. That's how important it is to us. So if you have any questions about accountability in regards to our accountability charts or the Live School app, please reach out to me. My email is jlee, Jlee, at LACA, LACA.org. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Coach Lee LW, and you can find me there. By all means, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to be able to help you put some of these pieces together and help you with that. And if there's anything else you need, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks for your time.